Welcome to 2025. Every time we come into a new year, I take time to reflect on the past years and then look forward to the coming year. And we often share with our network and beyond a New Year's message, often focused on the activities we may have coming ahead and our view of how the world can truly be improved by the impactful actions of young people. And this time around, I am so delighted to be joined by Marwa and Jean Desiree, JD, and Wendy from Côte d'Ivoire, Jean, from Tanzania, Wendy, and from Lebanon, Marwa, so that we collectively can co-create a powerful message to the DOT network for 2025. I'm constantly inspired by the young people that I've worked with over the years at DOT, and I'm particularly inspired by what unites young people and the collective action that all of you take together across borders, across boundaries, those common themes that inspire you and ignite your passion for change. And we were looking at themes for 2025, and in response to conversations with many youth in our network, the themes of hope, the theme of action, and the theme of youth-led really came to the forefront. And we're going to have a very deep conversation now, and I'm excited to hear about your insights, your experience, and more along these these three themes that I really do think unite young people in particular. And again, it gives hope and optimism for the future and the present. One thing I've always thought about is the courage it takes to drive change in your community. And the Latin word for courage is actually core. So it's a short, but it's core. And core can also mean heart. And so having courage means to speak from your heart. And that is very powerful. And I hope today that we can all collectively speak from our heart about our dreams and aspirations for 2025. So I'd like to kick it off now and hear from you, in particular, just what inspires you in terms of hope, and that hope, how it moves to action. Because I know in our work we did in climate, Mara, you were involved in that. That was one of the critical pieces. Yes, we have hope, but we also move to action, and it's youth-led. And so what comes to mind for you around what matters about the work you do and what that looks like going into 2025 for you?
So this is great. I think it's a great honor to be here and then having this New Year conversation with all of you. Um, on day-to-day basis, what we actually face is like having young people having the energy, as you mentioned, having the hope for a better future, but at the same time facing challenges like somebody's going to school, is like he doesn't have this insurance that at the end of the education will have a job, or maybe he's going to school and have this threat that he cannot actually express him or herself openly about his ideas or her ideas, how like the environment is becoming, you see the rise of conflict, making the environment not as safe as it should be for young people to express their ideas. But the good point that you mentioned is hope. Hope is the fact that you are still alive, that means that your life matters, and then you can actually bring change. And in my day-to-day activity, coming from a background where you have experienced war before, where you have seen how this kind of situation can, in a thinking of I, change your situation and bring you from up that you were to down that you can be. Hope stands as, I would say, a safe guard for you, a safe place for you, and like it gives you this energy to move forward toward your activities. And on day-to-day basis, we support young people on the fact that information is the key. Because today there is this problem where the person that put it first out wins it, which is actually risky because most of the time those news outside are not cleared, they are not double checked, and they represent a threat for young people. So we came to the point that it's not the information that is out that is out first that matters, but it's the good information that matters. So we drive young people toward those platforms like digital platforms or even offline platforms where they can actually get access to the right information. They can get access to opportunity that will make them stand out. For example, in my case, I wrote an ebook so the ebook is that of my compass for international excellence, where I share with them my over 8 years experiences in having the opportunity to sit at the decision making table and either write policies or support policies to be implemented for young people by young people and with young people. So this kind of information available for young people help them to rethink, to reset their minds, and now nurture more good habits for their futures. I think my fellow colleagues here will actually, like, for example, Wendy can come in and share experiences. I think she has a great experience about how she's influencing women and young people in general to have their say.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you for sharing your experience. But I am happy that you have talked about hope, that there is still hope to young generation. Yeah, this also applies to us. First of all, in Tanzania, youth makes the more than 50% total of the total population. So almost half of Tanzanians are under 18. That means there is a very huge need to empower this young generation, but also to provide them with the right information, the right skills, ensuring that there is a supportive environment that adapts but also receives and embraces youth with their views and their innovations to improve daily activities. So talking about issues around entrepreneurship or businesses or what, youth mostly they are found in on the streets with formal education but without basic skills to conduct entrepreneurship activities. Now, considering the issue of unemployment in our country, which is around 4.3% for youth, especially young women. The unemployment rate is 4.3%. That makes a lot of young women out of the formal jobs, and that creates, of course, an opportunity for them to engage in entrepreneurship activities. But also, another challenge is that are they prepared? Do they have the necessary skills? Is the environment really conducive to support them as young and very small entrepreneurs? That is still a very huge question to ask ourselves, but also to ask our leaders about that. But also, these young women, according to how they are raised and the environment they have been living with, do they have the agency for them to take responsibilities, to take action, to have a choice on how they can grab the opportunities that they are around them. So that's still a very huge gap to our young population, especially women here in Tanzania. So looking about all those things, there is a great need for initiatives and for uh, projects to reach the marginalized community, these of young women, and especially those who live in rural areas with limited access to digital opportunities or digital technology. That means they cannot access the information that is all over the digital or all over the network. So there is still uh, a huge thing or a huge call for development partners and everybody, wherever they are, to think about how they're going to reach these people who they are. I can say they are digitally excluded. You know, in this world, being digitally excluded makes you out of it limits you with from a lot of opportunities, a lot of knowledge, the right information, and all those. So that's still a very huge challenge that sets back or traps young women in this cycle of poverty and dependency. And that exacerbates issues of violence, you know, the participation in decision-making bodies or decision-making rooms. And when you are dependent and you cannot participate in decision-making rooms, there is no way your issues are going to be considered in anything, not only policies, strategies, or anywhere. So that's like the reality of my population, my people who I live with every day. Thank you.
Thank you both, Wendy and JD. Interesting coming together about hope being a safe space
Yeah.
and hope keeping me alive and being in that safe space, but also the practicality of action to agency. I'd like to talk more in a minute about real examples where you've seen the change of what happens when a young person has the digital access and access to the information and the skill sets. Because that I think is something that can demonstrate, what's possible and what even more is possible.
Despite all the challenges that we are facing every day in Lebanon, first of all, the war that has happening lately or recently. So we didn't. I want to mention the happenings or realities we are facing and still facing, but I think it's increasing. So first of all, the scorching summers and the shrinking harvest as agriculture is one source for their living as we are living in villages. So my community faces harsh realities daily due to climate changes. Summers are becoming hotter and weather patterns becoming unpredictable and extreme, so making it harder for farmers to grow crops. So this directly impacts our economy and food security. So farmers like my neighbors, so they neighbors tomato crop almost failed recently because of water scarcity. So what we have in PAR part as a dot climate champion, we were working as a community to find a solution for all of these problems. So when they find the food price have tripled, adding strain to family budget, they start to interact with us. Also adding to that the problem of poverty and unemployment, which led the woman to leave her places or um, working for less salary than others. So there is a fewer job opportunities. Many younger people are forced to leave the area or accept underpaid work. Women in particular face even greater barriers to employment and leadership opportunities, often being excluded from decision maker process. So ignored potential of women and youth in my community or communities in our country. So women and young people have so much potential to contribute to solving this challenge, as we have been seeing with when we are working with them, but their voices often go unheard. Women in particular are sidelined when it comes to leadership, even though they are pillars of resilience in their families and communities, but they didn't believe in their skills, their what their abilities. Similarly, young people are frequently overlooked, treated as inexperienced rather than as innovator with a fresh perspective. So they ignorant. Also, community change when they start to change or believe themselves they have to change. If the problem of pollution in Lebanon, it's a pressing concern for them. Garbage here often piles up, leading to health issues and degrade the natural beauty of our region also degrade their health and the quality of life here. But in other hand, always we had a positive side. Community have working start to work together. So the community resilience shine through. People are incredibly interested in finding solution and supporting each other, especially the farmers when they helping each other in finding new solution for their farms, and they start innovative and new things, even if the resources were limited. So I think what inspired me in my community, I think, يعني, hope blossoms when I see that transformations happening around me, especially among the young girls in my community. They start appreciate what I do, as I am a leader in my community, and and believing in the cause I stand for, which is a climate crisis. So watching them feel inspired to take action and recognize their own potential fill me with immense pride to and hope to continue the way. So it's a sign that change is not only possible but only contagious. So this girl once hesitant to voice their aspiration, now envision themselves as leaders and change maker, proving that empowerment begins with belief. So that's what like inspire hope for me in my community. What inspire hope in my life personally, becoming a climate champion was a pivotal moment in my life, a true game changer. So before this journey, I had stopped believing in myself because of challenges we were facing in my country, Lebanon. So, leaving me upset and inactive person in my community, also in my study. This also all affects all of us as a young people. So, but through joining this program, I think, and I'm sure, I found a sense of purpose and confidence again. So it freed me from self-doubt and reconnected me with my dreams. I met a lot of people, like young people in my community. So, as young people, we have limitless opportunities to create meaningful change. So, I think we are proud of what we have done till now. So this renewed belief in myself and gave me the courage to lead, inspire, and take initiative. It's been a deeply personal journey of resilience, where I learned to embrace my voice and role as an agent of change in my community. And the best part is inspiring women and men, but most the women, because as I said before, they are ignored and neglected in my community. So I think this is what inspires me every day. The power of collective action especially inspire me the most. So witnessing my community come together from many places to address the challenge of climate change, so has been a source of hope for all of us. So we start doing cleanup campaign, brainstorming solution without implementing. No worries. But the most important thing that we are thinking of our problems, and everything will come later on.
Mara brought out, some wonderful examples. I like the phrase, change is contagious. Huh? Yeah. The communicator, Jean, you're saying, yes, that's a great tagline, change is contagious. And, it's so true. And when others get engaged, the collective action, and we see all of you are role models, I know, for others in your community, and the role model of women driving change and collective action, and the community embraces, and it truly is wonderful. Each of you talked about the challenge, what the problem is, but you've also brought forth the solutions.
So my journey is quite a journey of someone who believe that everything is possible. If you can do it, it can happen. So, for example, I had a background in English. Actually, I'm not a communication person by training. I have a bachelor's degree in English, linguistics, and literature. So I was supposed to either become a teacher or a translator, which I did. But I was not finding my purpose into it. I was actually missing something. I think the missing puzzle for me was how young people can actually be the one doing what they like to do. Because most of the time you will find people saying, okay, we are doing this for young people, we are doing it for the youth. But when you go and check, the decision makers are not young people. The person doing the activities are not young people. The person evaluating the project are not young people. The only place where you will see young people is at the level of consultancy. So they will come and consult them, put them in peer-to-peer group, workshops, get the ideas, and it's done. So I was like, no, this is either maybe I'm not getting the right information, or maybe it has to change. So I went into that, and I decided to start from the ground, from zero, to join organizations that have no communication, because they were doing a lot on the ground, but nobody was hearing it. So I said, the first thing to do is to set up a communication platform where people can talk about their goals and their vision. So I went into some organizations and started sharing the activities, started sharing what they are doing. And at the same time, I was inspiring other young people to say, you can do it as well. You can get to that level. You can change the narratives about young people. Because most of the time they will address young people as lazy people. So they have the energy, but they are not that courageous to go to the end. So the narratives has to change, because young people is the future, or they are the future. But the future is not tomorrow, the future is now. Every day is the future. So you have to change the narratives every day. And this is how I came across so many organizations. So I set up in 2018 an organization in UK with Chatham House, where we bring together young people from both continents, Africa and Europe, to discuss about main issues. So we talk about issues, turn them to policies, and then submit them to government representative or other high representative. And also in Ivory Coast, as I mentioned, so we went through war and all that. And at the end, after that, there was a need to equip young people with skills on how they can be independent. And I like the word of Wendy when she was mentioning about how we can quit dependency and become independent. And this starts with the basic skills, as she mentioned. So I started some trainings with my friend first, and after that moved to other fellows. Today, I'm happy to say that over 1,500 people have benefited from my trainings. And some are either in Ivory Coast, some are either abroad doing their masters, their different activities. The key point I want to stress on, and I think is the nerve of the war, is information. If young people are not well informed, they will go the wrong way. You can bring them, you can put them in an environment, you can talk to them, but if it is not the right information meeting their right needs, it won't matter to them. And it changes from one region to another region. You can go to bigger cities, the same need is not as equal as the one living in rural places. And that's why information also has to be balanced and has to be, I would say, differentiated and adapted to the environment. And that's why I work most of the time. I make sure that the information that is given in bigger cities is actually not the same given, but given, so having the same vision, but not the same given to those who live in rural places. Because those living in big cities, they have access to almost everything. Most of the project that will come to a country will be done in bigger cities first. So bigger cities, they are more advantageous than those living in rural places. The other thing also is the stigma. So when you see people coming from bigger cities, they are seen as gods, they are seen as heroes. Meanwhile, if you go to rural places, you will see greater heroes. You will see people doing amazing work. You will see people doing amazing, but why they are not seen? Because they don't know how to communicate their ideas. They don't know how to express their thought. They don't know how to push it forward for people to know. Sometimes they don't even know where to push it. You see people coming to social media just for entertainment. This is wrong. You can't use 100% of social media for entertainment. It's the platform for you to make your voice heard. Currently, our country will be going through elections by October this year. And you can see how young people are now going online and expressing their ideas. True, there is a lot of it can have, it may have some threats, but they have understood that they can use social media to change the narrative.
Your passion comes through, your determination comes through. And I think that's a theme as well in your personal transformations. And I remember experiencing that myself, the determination that keeps you going and perseverance. But I also heard, I also heard when you were talking about the heroes who are not seen. There's another powerful phrase, like Marwa, when you were talking about the unheard voices, and Wendy, when you were talking as well about women and not having agency, how can we help and support, and more so. But that, again, that determination, engaging in dialogue, having information, having skills, how it just gets me very inspired and excited about that then ripple effect of what's possible, as more and more people recognize what is possible.
Working in non-profit local organizations, I have seen or I've met different people with with dreams and visions, which are very constructive, and they can bring a very huge impact in our community because they know the real situation and they really understand some steps which the community can take to move from one step to another. So my sense of purpose, I've found that I feel like I need to build my skills first and my knowledge on how we can really mobilize resources, not only from outside our country, but also how can we build constructive partnerships with private companies here in our nation? How can we really put constructive collaboration between public and the private sector? How can we really mobilize resources from each corner of our community to be allocated to address the most important needs in our community? So as here at High Initiative, we are young. We don't have even 10 years of working in Tanzania, but we know and we are already working with younger organizations or younger people with dreams who have started to implement different initiatives to solve or address different challenges that are available in their community. So I love that Mara and John, they've spoken about people are motivated. Motivated people are on the ground. So it's a high time that everybody to know or to point the right people and those people to get capacity building and all the support that they need to implement initiatives that are really addressing the challenges in their community. So young youth-led organizations in all the countries, especially developing countries or less developing countries, I feel I can see that when they are united together, having the same movement, collective movement, it is a very good strategy to address the challenges that are current in our community, because these young people have innovative solutions to the current situation that we have right now. I know that DOT is already doing a lot in promoting young people, building young leaders, but also supporting youth-led organization. That is a very huge initiative, and it's really bringing a lot of hope to these young people who are striving to build and to bring change in their community. And this is just the beginning. More people or more partners and more development partners should really get the right information on how young people are really committed at bringing change to their community and not otherwise as other people think. So the great hope here I see is the hope to empower youth, to build the legacy of youth and to create a collective movement of youth-led organization, youth innovators, and all kinds of dreams which are around the youth to solve the current problems because they are the one who are facing them every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Wendy. And again, I think another common theme is collective action, that each of you have touched on. Just quickly, Wendy, can you take 2 minutes to share with us, if you're comfortable, what your first or one of your first jobs was and how that influenced the direction and where you are now?
My first job after graduating a bachelor degree, I had to go and pick a job for petrol station pump attendant because there was no way I was able to get or to be enrolled in a formal job because I didn't have experience. I didn't have the ABC's knowledge on formal jobs. So I took that job because I had I did not have any other source of income. First of all, it brought me a lot of stress, and it might even get you to think like, am I really good enough to reach my dreams? It was a whole of holocaust moments, facing gender-based violence, facing all kinds of disrespect, disregarding my level of education and my knowledge. So I had to look for an opportunity where I can grow. And these opportunities, I can tell you here in Tanzania, they are few. So I took up a very entry-level opportunity, which was an assistant administrator. That is where I found very good people who really embraced me with the way I was, and they were ready to build me from the lowest level where I was. From there, I learned about nonprofit works. I learned about issues around disability inclusion. I learned on proposal development. I learned on project management. It was a very supportive environment that really built me and brought me confidence that, so everybody with a supportive environment can really thrive from one stage to another. So after there, I thought I have a debt to give back to my community, to give back to the people who did not have the chance that I had to get that supportive environment. Ever since, I've been working with women rights organizations, and now I'm with High Initiative, working for young women, supporting young women to thrive, to have financial resilience and financial freedom. So I believe that every individual, no matter their current situation, if they get supportive environment, if they get the right skills and information, if they get resources, they can really transform from the lower stage to the better stage, and they then bring back a great impact to the community.
Beautifully said. And again, I see the linkages between what you have shared. What has this part of the conversation inspired for you?
We are all talking about the problem we really have, or like inequities inclusive in our community, and everything related to that, this issue. So I think as a climate champion, as a climate change or climate crisis is also related to what they are talking about, because it's a thing for equity. So when we are bringing people together around a shared vision, it's also a good thing to gather the two gender, male and female, and it's fostering collective action that transcends barriers, that woman is not an effective in her community effective member. So I think um, for 2025, as I'm calling as we are called as a leader. So we have to like to empower other while also staying rooted in empathy, collaboration, action, and employ the climate change for inequity, for equity. So we save the role of women, we save the role of man. In the same time, we are uh, helping the women in our community to be a change makers and unlocked her voices and confidence. So I think this um make when we are training the people here in Lebanon, their enthusiasm to learn, to take action and lead initiatives, even when the odds it's all against them really here in Lebanon. So I think people work together, where hope thrive because people work together to ensure fairness, inclusion. So I'm committed to being a catalyst for this change. So as I was a participant in Dot Climate program, and I'm now a leader, and I had been a leader in my community. So in 2025, um, I'm working to continuing to build the bridges and create opportunities for those who follow. So I think lesson from Dot we have taught from Dot and the growing network of change makers. So I believe we can make a dream a reality. Uh, Together, I think together we can start small as we started with my colleagues in Lebanon, and we can achieve big. So I think an equitable and inclusive world is one where everyone, regardless for sure of gender, age, background, or abilities, have the opportunity to strive and contribute to meaningful changes. So we don't evaluate them of background or abilities or gender. So my dream is for a society that values diversity and actively breaks down the barriers of ignorance and exclusion, sorry, particularly this force faced by women in my community, and unbelieving in the use of power and marginalized communities because of their background somehow. So I believe we can starting by creating space as that also shift our mindset in the curriculum where our voices is heard and we are continue to lead and affect others. So we want to shift them these ignored voices for not to be only heard but amplified. So whether through climate initiatives, so education, also leadership program, we must empower underrepresented groups to lead the conversation and shape solution in their communities, since they are the only one know their problem in their community. So I also hope to see communities embrace a participatory approach, like participatory action research that we have in climate change program. So, which ensuring that everyone has a seat on the table. It's not. There is no discrimination. So when decisions affecting their lives are made. So equity, I think, it begins with inclusion, and inclusion begins with listening, and this unheard voice will be heard. We saw as climate champions how equipping youth with the right tools can drive to significant change. So I believe we need to prioritize accessible and inclusive education that fosters critical thinking and problem solving skills. Experience has shown that while the challenges are daunting, they are not insurmountable. Together with, for sure, critical thinking, perseverance, and a shared vision, we can ignite for a sustainable future.
It's interesting, as you were talking, I was thinking of passion, but also back to determination, because I hear determination in each of your voices. I hear that so strongly, and not just for yourself, but for others. Young people have dreams, Wendy said, they need to be able to achieve those dreams. Marwa, you talked about that as well. So did you, Jean, and the unlimited possibilities, of that, of people are inherently good. They want to contribute to their communities and they have dreams. And young people we need to capture and support that development of their dreams and listen to them and not decide for them. John, when you were talking about Chatham House and how that was about engagement and dialogue, with European countries, and I think there's a platform that we can continue to build on with Dot. We do that, but these types of deep conversations, and across our network, right? Sharing across countries, across communities. I'm excited that the climate initiative is expanding because we tested it in Tanzania and in Lebanon, and now it is expanding to all Dot countries, as well as some of our Going Beyond partners. So we're really, really excited about that. And Marwa, yes, you're one of 18, I think, who are actually taking the climate coaching certification. So we're working with a partner in the UK for that. So exciting things in 2025. Our deepest thanks from myself and everyone, and for all the work you put into this, and also for your speaking with courage, speaking from the heart, and your eloquence. I just deeply, deeply appreciate it. Thank you so much.